Welcome back to Tea and Toys. Okay, I'm going to do a slightly different video to a lot of the other review videos that they've done on Heroquest. What I'm going to do, this is going to be a comparison video. So, hey, let's go compare. This is the original Heroquest box from 1989. And this is the new one from Avalon Hill Hasbro with the Return of the Witch Lord quest pack and the Keller's Keep quest pack. Now, originally we did have this older version for the original Heroquest, but that's actually with my brother's version of Heroquest. This one was actually donated to me very recently. It's nice. It's not complete. I was actually building this to get it nice and complete, ready for when this arrives, but yeah, best laid plans and all that. So this is the new one. As you see, the artwork is very similar to the original, but obviously they've given the elves and boobies this time round. But luckily, if you did get the mythic tier version, you get your male elf and your female barbarian, dwarf and wizard in that box set. Well, let's not delay. Let's compare everything. Okay, now excuse the glare from the light above. There's not a room big enough in my house to show these off. So this is the new version of the Heroquest map. It's exactly the same layout as the original Heroquest map, but it is in fact scaled up slightly. So let's get the this room to compare it. You can see it is the same layout, but they have scaled up the Heroquest board. There's nothing much different about the layouts. Obviously the original missions are more or less identical. I think they've added a few bits here and there. It is more so the American rules than the European rules, where the American rules were actually better. Makes a difference. So there you go. That is the board comparison. So to start off the comparisons, we've got the Barbarian. So we've got the original Barbarian. This is actually the version 2 Barbarian, the light red. Like I said, this was a donated set to me. I do prefer the darker red plastic on the original set, but it was free. And then we got the Barbarian, male Barbarian and the female Barbarian. There was actually a female Barbarian in the original Heroclix run. It was in one of the US exclusive sets, and I can't remember right now which set she was in. I think it was the Frozen Horror set, but here we have old and the 2 new updates. And next we got the dwarf. So we got the male dwarf and the female dwarf, and obviously the original. Next up we got the elf, and this was my playing piece. You can see that he is the dark red, so he's one of the original run Heroquest pieces, so an earlier piece. And then we've got the male elf, who is actually a part of the add-ons, and the female elf, which is a part of the base set, as you can see her in the background there. So she replaces the male elf in the base set. Now we have the wizard, again another popular playing piece of mine. I always liked the wizard and the elf, and my brother tended to play with the barbarian and the dwarf, so it kind of worked out quite well in the house. So here we have the original, the male and the female. So a character that appears in the Heroquest quests early on is Sir Ragnar, and it's the first use from the original game where you would use the Chaos Warlock figure to represent another character. But this time round we get a Sir Ragnar figure who does appear in a later quest, from what I remember, like rescuing our heroes. So here he is. This is a comparison. So the Chaos Warlock is used for a lot of extra characters in the original Heroquest, but now we have our very own Sir Ragnar. And another part of the add-ons to the Mythic Tier campaign, we get an Orc Bard, a Druid, a Warlock and a Wizard. Now there is an additional add-on pack, so you get 2 knights, a male and a female knight, so I have pre-ordered that, but that is not out until the new year. So looking forward to those 2 extra heroic characters we can play with. Now we're starting on with the baddie characters. So first up, we'll do the undead ones. So we've got the original skeleton, the base set skeleton, and we get like a different added extra skeleton. So when they added 2 extra skeletons, 2 goblins, 2 abominations, they actually gave us a different figure. Now I'm certain when I looked at the campaign that they pictured like the same skeleton, but it's nice that we're getting something a little bit different in the added set. Got a comparison of the original mummy, male and female for the original stuff. Now for some reason this is a piece that I always loved. I always loved the look of the zombie. I don't know why. When we had our original Heroquest set, which my brother now owns, we painted the whole thing. It looks terrible. I'm very much a fan of not painting this stuff. I don't want to be painting my Heroquest because I just love the way they look fresh out the box. Like the green for the orcs and the goblins and the firmers or abominations, white for the undead. It just made sense to me. So with the goblins, we get 3 different base versions of the goblin, and obviously you get a different one in the added extras. Now, as it's an incomplete box, I can't remember if there's 4 separate different goblins. So the standard regular goblin with the curved sword, regular goblin with an axe, and a goblin with a straight sword. You can see they're still very small, the original ones, and the new ones. Here we have the bulk of the dread forces, the orc. And this time around we get 4 base orcs, so 1 male swinging an axe, 1 male with a big sword, female with a big sword, and another female with a mace. And then we get the added extra orc with a big warhammer. Now, unlike the original set, now there were 4 different orcs. You had orc with a chef's cleaver, orc with a sword, orc with a morning star. Now, this orc in the original game, the one with the big sword with a notch in it, is depicted as special orcs within the original missions of the game. Now, having not flicked through the new book, it'd be interesting to know which one of these orcs is meant to depict Ulag, being a name that I do remember from playing it. So I wonder who that is in the missions. But there we have, that's the comparison between all the orcs. One of the most notable changes from the original HeroQuest is the Firmer. The Firmer is no more in new HeroQuest. We have the Abomination in his place. So we get the standard look Abomination, and obviously the special pickup Abomination. So yeah, no more Firmer, 2 different Abominations, which is quite cool. Another change from the original HeroQuest. They used to be Chaos Warriors, and now they are Dread Warriors. So here we have the original Chaos Warrior, the main box pack-in Dread Warrior, and the extra. I actually prefer this one, so I might actually play this one more on the sword compared to the one with the mace there. That's the added extra Dread Warrior. One of my favourite pieces from the original HeroQuest was the fact that you could build the gargoyle. Whenever the gargoyle was called down, you knew something's going to go bad for the heroes. Obviously in the UK game he doesn't last very long, but now we've got the US rules. It'll be interesting to see how they work in that system. So obviously not used to playing that way. But yep, the original gargoyle looking absolutely fantastic. Obviously based on the Balrog from the Lord of the Rings books. This is the base set gargoyle, and this gargoyle, which is the added extra gargoyle, we weren't actually meant to get because it didn't reach that tier, but Hasbro decided to do the last 3 bits that didn't make the mark and did them anyway. So there we have the gargoyle. Next up, we've got the Chaos Warlock piece. Now, the Chaos Warlock would be depicting any major sorcerer or big villain in the original HeroQuest game, and sometimes Sir Ragnar, a hero, would be depicted as the Chaos Warlock. But this time round, Chaos Warlock, we actually get a proper Dread Warlock this time round within the game. So he'll be depicted, all those special nasties within that, and obviously we get a female one as well. I think it is a separate character within the new system, but you can use the female one if you want her to be that version of, I'm going to say the Witch King because that's the only one I can remember now. But this time round, we actually get our very own Witch King piece. Now this, to me, is the Witch King in my head. But here we have, we've got this nice, and cast in white plastic to go with the undead, because he is like the master of the undead creatures in HeroQuest. So it's nice that they've done that, and it's a lovely nod to the undead pieces, and it's good to build that side of the army as well. So instead of being grey, he's cast in white this time round. So there we have the Chaos or Dread Sorcerer. So in order to get this piece, we were meant to raise 4 million backers. Now, HeroQuest did a damn good backing campaign. I was worried for it to begin with, but we all came back. From 1989, we came back to back the new HeroQuest. So here is the dragon. We weren't meant to get this. 4 million, I think it got to just under 3.6 million. So the extra gargoyle, the additional book, and this dragon piece. And I'm so glad that we've got all 3, and Hasbro just decided to just do them anyway. And here we have the furniture comparisons. So we've got the closed door. You can see they've now cast it completely in plastic, unlike the last time when it had like a plastic base and it was a cardboard top. That's the closed door. So the open door, a lot more intricate now. You see like a skull type head up there. You've got like reeds or ivy going up the sides. Like a massive improvement when it comes to the doors. Really, really massive improvement. Yeah, the old stuff still holds its place in my heart. Next up, the treasure chest. And again, obviously fully cast in plastic this time round. Nice intricate like lock there on the front, if you can see that. Compared to just a plain lock like last time. Change what's on the inside. Obviously you had to construct this originally. Still a lot of detail on this old stuff, but you know, obviously technology has moved so far forward, and we can get this nice like wooden effect there, looking absolutely beautiful. And then we have the alchemist's table. Now, unlike last time, it's all glued together, or one solid piece, whereas you had to sort of glue the scales on the old original and clip on like a skull or rat if you decided, and the bottles, chemical bottles. And now, focus, you can see they're all nicely cast on there. No skull's head, got like a pendant, open drawer, somebody's rifle through it. Is that an ink? Is that a quill? Yeah, ink and ink quill. Scales, obviously the bottles are up here this time. That's the last one. Again, you have to construct this, put it all together. Absolutely amazing. But like I said, the detail on these old ones is still good, but compared to the new ones. Then we have the Warrior's Tomb. Let's pull that forward. I think the detail on these is quite equal. It's a lot more basic on this one, but you can see sort of a man's face this time around, whereas it's a knight in full armour. It's got that big broadsword. I don't know who this guy was. I know he was just a random dead warrior in tomb, and sometimes it'd raise up to be a zombie hidden inside, which is quite a cool playing trait. Unlike the original, which is just like a cardboard plastic top, you can put it apart. So you can put parts inside it if you needed to, keep them stored away. I think you can't quite put a zombie in there for it to go, which would be quite a cool little feature. Then we have the tomb. Now we have the Sorcerer's Table. Now, a little bit of difference here. Again, you had to construct the original, where you had to place on the candlesticks. Now, these often snapped. On our original set, these are in fact broken, but this one is a donated set. So it's currently all intact, that side of it. There are parts missing. Side by side, you can see a lot more details. Although there's no writing on the new one compared to the old one. You've got the spells written down there. Just blank pages. Maybe the spells have to be revealed. You can see it's got drawers this time round. Nice big solid piece of plastic. Nice wooden effect. And these are quite rubbery, so you've got some, well, they won't break as easily, I guess I would say. Basic table. These appear in many of the missions. Things hidden underneath them, search on top of them. Like other spells or treasures. Yeah, very similar. Very similar. They have taken this old stuff and they've gone, how can we update this? How can we improve it? How can we cast it in solid plastic and not having people to build things and lose additional parts? You could say that is the fallback of the original set. There's so many parts that could be lost. Now we have the bookcase. The bookcase is obviously a little bit smaller on the new one. You see lots of nice detail in there. Different books and things hidden in the back. Again, you can, I believe in some of the missions you can search the bookcase. Like on the table, you can find things that are in there. There's the illustration from the original. Again, so you can see that you've got like the rolls of something there. It's cast in. You know, they haven't like left off a little detail. You know, they've added bits. You've got the cobweb there. You couldn't just get that effect on this plastic, but you can put your own cobwebbing on there. And like the original, you could clip on the rat and the skeleton. I think this time round you can glue them on. The new set does come with skulls and rats as well. The rat tail's often snapped on these original sets. One rat is sadly broken on this donated set, but there we go. It does happen. Then we had the wardrobe, or the cupboard, whichever way you want to call it. And again, you can see they've taken this original one and they've just made it absolutely. Is that the skull there? No, just a bit of ornate decorations. The top. I guess I think you can glue the rats and skulls on again, but I don't know why you'd want to do that again. Like I said, they've taken these originals and they've just souped them up. It's quite heavy, actually. We've got the rack, which you can see is actually one of the most different, because it was originally cast in brown plastic with obviously a cardboard base. This time round it's all grey and a slightly different torturing rack. I couldn't tell you what era these are. Both very medieval torturing devices for poor prisoners, but yeah, the basics are there. You've got, well, it looks like somebody's hand has been pulled out, whereas the other time you could clip on a rat or a skull. So we did a skull this time around, but they've cast somebody's poorly ripped off hand there, and they've been pulled apart. Look at that, actually quite cool. Look at the detail on that. It's got a hollow base there, it's a bit weird. All the other bits aren't that hollow. So yeah, the rack, slightly different. I like with the rack, the fireplace is grey this time around, whereas last time it was brown with a cardboard cutout. Would be nice if they detailed the picture of the king in here. I don't think there's a sticker to put in, but I'm sure like repo labels or toy hacks could maybe produce some if it was an interest to them. They've got a bit of difference there. Obviously they've got rid of the faces. They've got like cast-in warriors just like on the tomb. That's quite nice. So it all sort of goes together. A bit boring last time, but that's nice brick walling on the back. I do like that. Yeah, that's the original fire for the fireplace. Nice. And the cool thing is, like, these new items, they could all be painted up if you are skilled at doing that. Like I said, in regards to the figures, the pieces, won't be painting this. Don't like to paint these things. I don't know why. Some people are really anti unpainted, but I kind of like the way they look in the original straight out of the box. All but two pieces of the original throne are gone. The cardboard cutout is gone. One of the plastic pieces that connects it is gone. I didn't bother getting the other one out, there's no point. So I can't do a full comparison of the two thrones. So this is the new throne. Nice big solid bit of plastic. And again, having all cast in one piece, you can't lose bits. You can lose the whole thing, but you can't lose bits, making it basically pointless anyway. But there we are, there's what I can compare for the throne. And the one thing I cannot compare, because the weapons rack is not in this old box, so I've only got the new one here. It is updated detail-wise. The back of Zargon, or whatever the UK version's name is, of the guy, and that's what it would have been looked like in the original one. Obviously unpainted and cast in brown, so it wasn't grey last time, it was still brown. There we go. And next up, the comparison for... Now, I think this is actually the original release of the character sheet. So I do think they actually did increase some more details on it. But I can't remember if that's true or not in my head right now. I'm sure it was more complex when they did a later release. So this is the original character sheet. You can see some of them been used. Paper's long yellowed. And this is the new one. A whole lot more details on the like gold coin count, weapons, armour, everything like that you'd have to put in here originally. You draw your own coat of arms in there. But more or less the same, but they just sort of like helped us out here by like blocking it down a little bit better. And next up we've got the rule book. You can see slightly different. We've got Zargon here, and I'm sure the UK version had a different name. And I cannot remember for the life of me what it is now. I did have a little flick through and I couldn't see it quickly. But there we are, that's the rule book. That's all black and white originally, and now beautifully coloured and like explaining everything in there. Absolutely fantastic. This is the forces of Zargon. Okay, there we are, Zargon, and the legions of Morcar. Yeah, so in the UK he was Morcar, and in the US it was Zargon. I can't even refer to him as Zargon. I guess because I've got all these other books I'm going to show as well. So that's the rule book. The US quest book actually made more sense because it was done like this way around in a landscape way, whereas the UK one they did it in portrait. I do actually have a printout of the original US one. So this is the original US quest book, the way it looked. And one thing that they could have done when they united the rules is, one thing I did notice, is the US quest book. started on a mission called The Trial, and that's this one here. In the new book, and in the original US book, that's The Trial there. And then it would move on to, I think, Sir Ragnar's. Yeah, the Rescue of Sir Ragnar. But the UK quest book, did not start with The Trial. The UK quest book started with a mission called The Maze. Now, I am amazed that they didn't add it. Of all the detail they've added, they've concentrated on the US side of the game. That's not the end of the world. You know, it was the one they've probably got access to right there, right then. But it is a shame that we don't get The Maze as well as The Trial in this new updated book. Have a quick flick through. It might be in there. I might be wrong. No, it's not. It really isn't in there, which is a shame. That is a shame. So, if we do get not an updated version of the main game, I don't have to buy a whole another main game just for a newly printed version of the Maze quest. But the cool thing is, I've got the Maze quest printed in here, so I can still play it with these new pieces, this new game, these US rules. But it's just a shame it's not complete. It's not complete. The Maze and The Trial should have both been in the book. And they are different quests. They are slightly different. So that's a shame. And there's another one, which appears on the back of the Build Your Own Heroquest games quiz. So is this like there was this picture that was on there where you got Ragnar and I'd call it the Chaos Sorcerer right now. They're battling, and it was you can build your own. You had Keller's Keep, you had the Return of the Witch Lord or Witch King, and also you build your own. And they did the Orcs one, and then the Wizards of Morcar box. And this mission was shown on the back of the Build Your Own. So I'd like it if they did still have the Plague of Zombies printed somewhere, like with the Maze. So if we do get the Frozen Horror set, or one of the other add-ons that they have done, add these two missions in that book. Do this artwork again, that's fine. I'd lovely to see that artwork updated like I've done all the other ones. But definitely give us the Maze and give us the Plague of Zombies printed in these new style books. So that's one thing. They missed out the one thing. So I've got everything printed in the old stuff. Every single mission printed. Even the bits from the old White Dwarf magazine. Anything that they did Heroquest wise, we've got, and I've numbered them all. Each mission's played in order. Inn of Chaos. Oh man. There's so much Heroquest to be played using this new box set. These are the old rules. I'm showing off bits and bobs I've printed in the past. Try and piece it all together to create the ultimate Heroquest. So there we are. That is unfortunately not a full quiz book. Okay, so let's compare the cards from the original UK set. And I don't know if the illustrations were different on the back of the US, so I'm assuming they weren't. So we've got the air spell right there. So it's obviously more this giant, like, turbine of wind, demon, god thing rising up and just blowing the air out. When this guy looks like a little genie. I know I love these old drawings still, but man, look how updated that is. That just looks pure evil, nasty, like the chaos of magic that it is. And the other side, I think, is kind of similar, you know, guarded. So you can actually turn on your own other players in the old Heroquest. So maybe you can't actually attack each other anymore, because the way that's written, you could attack one of the other players, I guess, maybe to get the treasures and what. You don't have to be a team. Well, actually, I think the US one is more based on being a team, if memory serves. I'm sure I remember reading that somewhere. So there we go, that's the difference in the air spells. It's interesting they changed the artwork on the back as well. I won't show all the different air spells, just like one of each. Then we've got the earth spell. And again, you've got this more like a giant earthly golem smashing what looks like to be a castle or something there. This other dude, he's just raising up. Hey, I'm an earth spell. Oh, weird, I've got rock skin. This, do you know, I've not intended them to be Tempest and rock skin, so maybe Just the order I've put them in, right, alphabetical order maybe. There we are. Interesting. And we've got the fire spell again. An absolute, like a nightmare scene with this inferno burning down this village or castle. There's the guy going, hey, I'm fire. Yeah, I didn't plan this. I didn't. There we are. Do you know, I love the old and the new artwork. Can't help it. Always love looking at these. They've got the water spell as well. Wave of Terror. This one's going to be envelop this poor battleship or merchant sailor. Yeah, Water of Healing again. So like I said, not intentional to do this, but yeah, you can just compare them right there, right then. That's the artifact card. Again, very similar design. The red book. Wizard staff. I actually think there's more artifact cards in the new stuff. So obviously this isn't like a comparison right there. An equipment card. Again, I like that they've kept the basics of the design. You've got the skulled shield, like the axes and the swords are all there. And so they've done good by doing that. You know, they've stayed true to the original and just sort of updated it and given us that new look. Again, not a true comparison of the equipment card there. And then you've got the treasure card. Again, you've got this glowing like magical emeralds and masks and swords and enchanted skulls. The other one's got a little picture frame. Oh, still a wandering monster. So he mentions Zargon there, doesn't mention Morcar there, just the evil wizard player. Again, often on the, well, I do know in the UK version, it would often sort of say evil wizard player, it wouldn't mention Morcar by name, whereas this one obviously mentions Zargon. It would be interesting if Morcar would be depicted as a different character, a different super evil player that you can pick, either Morcar or Zargon. It'd be interesting if you can keep both of them in the lore of Heroquest. And one thing I can't show the comparison to is the Dread spell, or the Chaos spell as it would have been in the original American set. The UK set did not get Dread spells or Chaos spells in the OG box set, so it's unfortunate, but there we are. That is a Dread spell for the enemy player. And then we've got the monster cards. You can notice how small these old ones are as well. All of them much smaller cards. There's a nasty like demon creature on the back there. And you'll notice on the UK cards, everything had a body point of 1, making the game a lot easier to play. The US rules were actually harder. Again, not a true comparison of the movement and the body points there, really. Oh, I just love looking at the skeleton. The skeleton just reminds me of Jason the Argonauts. Oh, what an amazing film that was. That's the right film to watch with playing something like Heroquest. There's the orc. Chaos and a Dread Warrior. Ooh, it's faster and tougher. And then the gargoyle. I'll show the. Now the gargoyle can get its own sort of playing pieces and within the game, so you wouldn't always have to play these stats on your gargoyle within the game, because there are sort of special ones, named ones, in the missions. One that is the most different is the femur or firma and the abomination. And that's still absolutely amazing. I love both versions, and it's just a shame I couldn't show you the comparison to the Dread spell card back or card front from the UK stuff. And also, as I'm trying to find the character cards, one thing I would also like them to add in with the maze and with the Plague of Zombies is the Dark Company missions. When they release that add-on set, the Dark Company, you don't need to release the whole box like they did originally, just need to release the Dark Company with those missions, all of them, so the Dark Company, the Maze, and the Plague of Zombies, all in one booklet. So just, I don't know, so you've got that at least being one sort of big game. Another big difference is that the original big card they gave you in the old Heroquest, and now they just give you a standard card size card for your playing pieces as well. So nothing on the back of the old ones, and it gives you basically this text here, what the main attribute is to play as the barbarian, what you get out of being him. They've all got their own pros and cons. Yeah, they're intended to play the same. I think she has exactly the same write-up on the back. Yes, exactly the same. It would have been nice had there been a little tweak here and there to separate the male and the female barbarians, elves, dwarfs and wizards. But it's still quite cool. They have got their own stat in a way. You get your own card. They're not going, oh, one barbarian card and that's it for both pieces. You get your female barbarian card out when you're playing her. You get male barbarian card when you're playing him. So that's a comparison for all three of them. I actually think it's better that they've downsized these big cards because they get in the way in the old box. Next up, we've got the dwarf. There he is. Male and female, old and new. Ah, you have to roll the dice this time. So that's interesting. That leaves it a bit more down to chance instead of just being able to walk in the room and go, oh, reveal. I do like that. That's better. That's better. It makes it fairer for the enemy player, because sometimes the enemy player can be a bit beaten up, especially when the heroes have got like upgraded weapons and whatnot. Obviously, you know, the elf is the one that they sort of packaged as a female in the main set for the new stuff. Now you can see the same stats there from the original. I believe they've got the same trait, a master of both magic and a sword. Well, they actually do state you get 3 in this one. So, actually, I don't know if they elf. No, I don't. I can't remember. Oh, that's the elf comparison. Absolutely great. And the last, we have the wizard comparison. Again, they kept the design quite nice, although I think they've done that the wrong way around because the moon is the wrong way around on the male card, but never mind. We had such weak stats last time. Yeah, one attack die, 2 defense die, 4 and 6, 4 and 6. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to playing this game. I cannot wait. And people that know I've got it, they really want to play this with me. So I'm happy to. I'm really happy to. One last thing to compare is the enemy player's shield. Again, very similar. Orcs battling one side. Let's fold out. Let's get that folded out. Yeah, they've kept true to the way the baddies are sort of displayed along the side there. There's the old one. Obviously, the reverse side is how the enemy player does his bits and bobs. There's a little bit more information there on the new one compared to the old one. The old one shows you each what of the other things is, whereas this one actually gives you all your movements. So you don't actually need your cards. Really looking at that, you don't need your cards. You've got this to look at. Oh well, still cool. You get the cards. Right. Well, that is everything compared in the old and the new Heroquest. What do you think? What do you think they could add? Or what do you think they've missed that they could have added to this re-release of Heroquest? What are you looking forward to? What sets do you want to see coming up? We know that they have sneak peeked the Frozen Horror set. Whether that was by accident or not, we don't know. But it was shown in the back of the Hasbro 1027 event that they did. So yeah, don't forget to love, like, subscribe and see you guys on the game board.